we're back once again to give you guys, hey, we will give you guys our slant on some things. You just have to wonder what the things are, because this is Gentleman Jim here.
Victoria Baylor, and you found yourself at the Tailor and the Dressmaker show.
That's what you have found yourself
right?
at.
So how's your year? Off to a good start?
It really is. You know, like I said, I got some things that I'm really going for, and I'm not going to get off the path. I've spiritually reconnected myself with the Holy Spirit, which is going to keep me focused. It's about me focusing on what I have to do.
This man's on fire, y'all.
Ouch!
Ah.
Don't burn yourself.
I'm telling you, it's hot over here. Well, I share that same sentiment. I am so thankful to God. My year kind of started off recuperating from the craziness of last year.
Yeah.
But after 3 or 4 days, I found I got my momentum, and I'm excited about 2017.
I'm telling you.
And we are excited for you guys too, which is why we have formulated a lot of our shows to kind of give you that boost.
Yeah.
Like last week's Rate Your Sewing Confidence. What did you feel like that was very helpful?
That really was, and I looked at some of the comments that you guys sent back to us, and we always inspire you guys to send us back comments. We'd like to know how you feel about what we say. Now, once again, don't always take what somebody says to heart.
That's right.
Form your own opinion.
And look it up yourself.
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
That's
You'll
right.
be well
See?
informed.
So with that, you know, we are starting this year a little different than we did. We want to kind of let you guys get in the mood.
There you go. That's a good way of saying it. That's right. Because we could show a lot of technical stuff, and that would be fine. But I oftentimes believe, and I kind of believe what Scripture says, as a man thinks, so is he. So oftentimes you have to change the way you think about something so that you become something.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
Right.
Okay, so in that vein, so last week we did Rate Your Sewing Confidence. We're thankful for everybody that chimed in. I know Alethea and Dawn, love to you guys. You guys spread the broadcast to your group, and we really appreciate that. The Paracrafters and those guys. This week we're dealing with, where do you find sewing inspiration?
Yeah.
And actually not even the where, the who, what, where, and when, and whys of sewing inspiration.
There you go.
So what is inspiration?
What inspires me, outside of my own driven force, is when I see others and what they do. I tune into Facebook like everybody else does. And I like the ones that I visually can see, that's a good job. Mm-hmm. Now, those that are not good jobs, I'll make no comments on that, because it's not me to tell you.
You just lurk and like leave?
Well, no, I just look at it, because I got news for you. When you take a picture of something, trust me, you could see flaws on things if you know what you're doing.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And I'm not putting down what these people have done. I go back to, and it always comes back to me, what I always say, hone your craft a little better.
That's right. I mean, I look at my own pictures and I can tell. I think that's where the trained eye comes in.
Yeah.
Usually, your craftsmanship is the ability to make something and be able to cover your mistakes. So oftentimes, I might be able to see something and no one else notices.
That's right.
Or you might, he has a keen eye, so he might notice, but most people don't. I think that is a good level of sewing, because there's always going to be issues. Okay, so on to our topic, which you're absolutely right. Inspiration.
Like I say, I'm inspired when I see new people come into the scene.
A new blood.
New blood. And they display themselves, and they're real sure about themselves, and they speak it into existence. See, I'm just an old hat in the game now, and I don't want to do things like you guys are doing. I don't want to make clothes and try and sell them. I don't want to. My inspiration comes from when I teach one of my students and they get it. And that excites me.
Very well said. I think we have a good example of what that inspiration is. It's like it overtakes your body. You can really see it. It's in your heart, it's in your soul.
That's right.
And it just kind of overtakes your emotions. So that's the kind of inspiration that you should have as a sewer.
That's right.
And if you're not experiencing that, well, this show is for you. And if
That's
you
right.
are experiencing it, we want to show you how to experience it more. So I found a really cool, I like to look up stuff and I like to just read because sometimes you have to ask why. Why is it important?
Yeah.
And I found a really neat little mini article by Harvard Business Review. And just in short, I love the opening paragraph. And I'll leave a link. You can go read the rest of it, but we'll continue with the show. But let's just start off with this and follow up with what Mr. Jim said, which was really good. It says, in a culture obsessed with measuring talent and ability, we often overlook the important role of inspiration. Inspiration awakens us to new possibilities by allowing us to transcend our ordinary experiences and limitations. That's the big thing. So if you're here, inspiration is a boost for here. Inspiration propels a person from apathy to a possibility and transforms the way we perceive our own capabilities. Inspiration may sometimes be overlooked because its elusive nature. Its history of being treated as supernatural or divine hasn't helped the situation because it really is not.
No.
Inspiration is not some mythical thing. But as recent research shows, inspiration can be activated, captured, manipulated, and it has a major effect on important life outcomes.
There you go.
So there's a huge boost to who you become as a sower. Inspiration is tied up in that in a major way. And it's not all hand technical stuff. Inspiration is the stuff that comes inside of you that helps to birth that.
Yeah, I tell.
That's right.
Let me just add this.
Oh, please.
I stroke all of my students for a reason. I want them to understand, if you get this, you can do this. That's why my slogan is, if you can sew it, you can sell it.
That's right.
And I stroke them, and they know when it's not good, I tell them that's not good. Simple as that, it's not good. But my inspiring them pushes them forward. And that's what it's about. It's the, if any of you have seen the picture of the two hands, one reaching down to pull the other up.
Oh, yeah.
Inspiring him. Come on, we can do this. You know, we can do. Once again, if you guys are going to get into this sewing world, you have got to be inspired. You're inspired by other people, but you gotta get inner inspired.
Very
Your
true.
inspiration has to come from you, because you have to see that I can do this, because you can. The level of doing it depends on how hard you work at it. That should be your goal, because as I always say, if you can sew it, you can sell it. And by that meaning you want a product that you put out there that people say, oh, that looks so good.
You're absolutely right. And we've covered a lot. So just for a quick recap, we talked about inspiration being like the surge of invigoration that help propel your capabilities and the possibilities of what you can do in the sewing arena, which is really great. Mr. Jim talked about his inspiration is important because if you want to grow,
That's right.
inspiration is one of the catalysts to grow. So let's talk about, you said something very important about finding it. Where is it at? How do you get it? The truth is, you're absolutely right. There is something inside all of us. You have to cultivate that to want to be inspired. And oftentimes, if you were depleted internally and you don't find it within, you have to seek out inspiration. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would say so.
You gotta find
I would
it.
say so. You're not going to find inspirational quotes dealing with sewing. Most of the inspirational quotes are going to deal with you and your connection to the universe, to the spirit, to your family, and to everything else. So when you look at those type of things, it's good. People come into my establishment all the time, and they always ask me, well, how you doing today? I said, it's the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, he was like that this morning. I was like, what did you drink in your coffee?
That's the way I feel.
I didn't feel that way on the inside.
Yeah,
He was bubbling over.
But I have to feel that way, because if I can't recharge my own battery.
There you go. There you go. That article I think that I attached has more information about that, but you're absolutely right. And speaking of quotes, I did find two that I found very compelling, and I will tell you what inspires me. The first quote was by Pablo Picasso. I really loved it. It says, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working.
Oh.
So could it be that in the midst of churning, digging, even in struggling, you can find that glimmer of inspiration, but you have to be doing something.
That's
Hiding
right.
out and not staying away from your sewing room. I've done it. Like, you go on strike, you're scared, you're whatever you're dealing with, you're depressed. No, oftentimes you have to get in there and dig, and that is when you uncover the best of who you are as a person, and oftentimes you'll find inspiration as well. And then I think another one that was pretty cool was, where is it? I got a new phone, y'all. Y'all gotta pray for me. So I got to figure out how to use it. Oh, I'll get to this one later. This is the last part. But as far as inspiration, when it goes for me, I thrive on inspiration. I love the fact that my husband always laughs because I read a ton and I love like autobiographies. I like connecting to people that do great things because from them, there's always just this, I don't know, it helps charge my battery. And I particularly, don't laugh, and you're right, because you can't always find something sewing related to inspire you. Now I will say this. I did the broadcast for the Sewing Blab. Alethea and Dawn actually heads that up, and it's it's an online kind of like sewing community group, and they have a show. If you haven't seen it, I'll include a link down. But we did it this past Tuesday, and I was so inspired by it. And the whole discussion was about sewing books, which ones were your favorite. And they brought in about 7 or 8 sewers who talked about their favorite books, and you could see the passion, you could feel the passion. And I was behind the screen. I was one of the presenters, but I was so taken by everybody else, like what they knew, what they could do. It was just like and I was so inspired, and I found myself feeling like I gotta sew everything. I just like found this surge of energy. So that's what happens when you get inspiration. And another source of inspiration for me is I actually like to look at sports stars. As ironic as it sounds, like I like to look at their training regimens. Michael Phelps, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
What's his face from up north? The Illinois. Anyway, I can't remember his name. One of the Manning brothers.
Yeah.
Their training regimens, if you've ever watched them or heard about, they're intense. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Like Kobe Bryant would get up at like 4 a.m. and go to the the gym and
Michael
like shoot.
Jordan was like that.
All of them.
For you guys who don't remember, Larry Bird.
But all the old
like
school.
All the old school guys.
Yeah.
They talk about Jerry Rice and his training regimen and how he inspired guys. That's how he said he got better. And then you have those that are nonchalant. Oh well.
And
Listen,
those aren't the movers and the shakers. To be
you
the
can't
best,
be like that.
that's right. To be the best and to be at the top of your game, you have to like bring
That's
it.
right.
And that's why the book Outliers, which my 10,000 Hours blog is associated with, talks about those people that like give it the most. So anyway, that inspires me. So that's that. So we know how it helps sewing because it helps you get out of yourself. It helps you see possibilities. It helps you push your abilities. It helps you look for information to help you be better.
That's right.
Type of inspiration could be people, places, things. Where do you go for inspiration?
Well,
So I know where you like people wise, but is there a place you go to kind of recharge yourself or get inspired when you're doing stuff?
When in the sewing or just life?
Just in general. Well, sometimes when you recharge in life, you recharge the sewing battery at the same time.
Yeah.
Where's
because
your
that's
place?
what I do. First and foremost, when I come into my studio, my biggest recharge is thanking the Father for allowing me to have this
Glorious space.
You understand? I tell people all the time, this is my wife.
He's married, y'all. He's
This
married
is my
in
wife.
real life too, but he's married to the industry.
This studio here is my life. My sewing machines are my children, and I talk to them all the time. And then when I want my peace and my quiet and my innermost thing, I go to the water. Savannah is surrounded by water.
Yeah.
I love water. And I look out and look at the waves and I look at the birds and I walk on the sand.
Yeah, the beach is the place.
And I tell the Father that you know the desires of my heart. I get my recharge from there. Then I'm inspired when I come back to my studio and I sit down at my sewing machine, I cut something, I sit down and start sewing. That's my therapy. Sewing is very therapeutic.
It sure is. Yeah.
And I can sew, I can think, I can sew, I can watch, I can do. And then I can admire what I have done. I'm not really looking for people to pat me on the back. I want to be able to pat myself on the back and say, job well done.
That's right. And it's awesome that you know where to go and how to find that. And that's what we're trying to emphasize. You know, life is life. We all get battered and beat up. We're all little boats out there in the ocean sometimes. But don't forget that even in that, you can still gain inspiration, which is why I love autobiographies or people's lives, because you can see everybody goes through tough times. Everybody question themselves. Everybody go through self-doubt. But even in those moments, you can find yourself even better and greater, especially if you're connected to God. He can bring you through those and help you. One other thing of inspiration I forgot to mention, and I'm not trying to be talky, last night I had a consult with a client. So I have another business where I dress women. It's dressin10.com, and I specifically deal with women that are so busy they can't really dress themselves. I had a client who's very hard to fit. She's 6'4", really tall, a little bit on the fuller side. And I bought some ton of clothes for her, and she was in my sewing studio and we were dressing her. And just the look on her face, any woman's face, when they find the perfect piece and they're no longer looking at the rolls in their stomach or their thighs or anything that doesn't matter because their bodies are beautiful. But when they relish themselves, I come so alive. I get so excited. I'm like, oh, you look so beautiful. It's just, it's funny. But anyway, so I love to do that. But whatever it is, you should be doing something. That's my point. That inspires you, and more importantly, you said it earlier, inspiration is not to be kept to oneself. It's to be shared.
That's right.
How do you go about sharing your inspiration with other people? Do you even know you're inspiring people?
Well,
sometimes we don't know we're doing it.
Yeah, well, it's like I say, stroking my students, is really how I kind of go about it. And then I have people that I just see out there, and I tell them how nice they look today, how good their hair looks. What I say, you know, your hair looks real nice today. Or I like what you have on. Or look at the smile on your face. I'm always telling people, smile, you're on candid camera.
I know for sure. He just had a client leave, and he was just, Mr. Jim's a natural with people. They just love him to pieces. And I feel the same way. I love that, and I don't think I intentionally set out to inspire people. I think just by digging and growing and being, sometimes that's just a byproduct. But I love to, I don't know, maybe I never thought about actually doing, I know I do it. I get the feedback that I do it, and I love that part. But I think sometimes what I'm saying is, by becoming your true self, by becoming the person that God has made you to be, that is a seed that is planted into the lives of everyone you meet. People need you. That's why we emphasize that here. You cannot hold your gifts to yourself. No. You think your gifts are irrelevant. Right. You think you don't do much, but I beg to differ. Someone needs your smile. Right. Someone needs your capabilities. Please take your gifts, develop them, because that is not just for you. I know what I do is not meant for me. It used to be because I used to be scared and insecure. Now I'm like, oh, the world can have it. It's not mine. God gave it to me to give. So that's the main point of inspiration. So not only is it, to recap, it's a beautiful thing. We all need it. It propels us to added levels of greatness. Go find your inspiration. I don't care where you have to look. Be smart enough to do that. Start within, go without, and then share it with the world, right?
And with that, we're going to leave you.
We are.
But I want everyone watching us to give yourself a big hug.
That sounds good. I need one today.
Give yourself a big hug. And if there ain't nobody around to hug you, hug yourself. So this is Gentleman Jim saying we bless you, we appreciate you, and we'll be back.
Absolutely. Victoria Baylor. Love you guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. More good stuff next week.
More good stuff.
That's right. You go out there, be confident.
That's right.
And be inspired.
There you go.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.